Hello everyone, this is Rishabh Singh. I'm a legal intern at Lexis and Company. Today I'm going to discuss about the loopholes in animal rights and the ways to curb it. India, despite of being one of the richest country in the arena of flora and fauna, requires enormous amount of attention with regards to cruelty against animals. First of all, cruelty against animals means any kind of infliction of unnecessary pain or suffering to the animals. There are several legislations to prevent such acts against animals. The most important legislation is the Prevention of Cruelty Against Animals Act 1960. The several other acts include Wildlife Protection Act 2006, the Forest Rights Act 2006, and even to the Constitution of India provides for protection of rights of animals across the country. But in recent years, we have seen a lot of cruelty cases against animals coming on the record. For example, amid the emerge of COVID-19 in India, a case surfaced with regards to killing of a pregnant elephant in Kerala. Another instance was of 2016 where a medical boy who threw a dog on the terrace just for making funny video. Also, the number of deaths of cattle and stray dogs on roads are increasing. The list of such cases will go on and on. So, in this video, I'll give certain insight to what are the loopholes in the laws made by the legislature and how we can curb this issue. It is true that India is stepping in the arena of job growth, international relations, etc. But there exists a major loophole with regard to cruelty on animals. The Prevention Act was enacted in 1960, and since then, no important amendment was made to the Act. The penalties imposed in Act for cruelty against animals were up to rupees 10 to 15 case of offence mentioned under Section 11A. And fine not less than rupees 225 and not exceeding 100 in case of offence mentioned under section 11(1). So we can see that the penalty imposed was very low, although it may acted as a deterrent when act was enacted, but in the current world it is a very minimal penalty and will definitely not act as a deterrent. From the above, many questions came in mind, like whether animals are the children of some lesser gods, or whether the animals does not have any right to live. Now, continuing to the provisions in Constitution of India, Article 51G under Part 4 of the Constitution declares that every citizen should improve and protect the natural environment and shall have compassion for all the living creatures. But we all are aware of the facts that fundamental duties are not binding on citizens, and breach of those will not arise to any legal obligations. Another enactment was the Wildlife Protection Act 2006, and its main objective was to preserve and protect the wildlife of animals and prevent illegal trade and smuggling of the wildlife animals. But this act failed to provide the basic objective because of the lack of integrated approach across the country. The most serious hindrance in the case is China being the biggest importer of wildlife products like ivory and tiger parts, and India shares a long range of border with it, so that too the border are porous. And the most misused provision of this act was of self-defense under section 11(2), which provides that killing or wounding an animal in course of self-defense is not an offense. In furtherance with the things mentioned above, there is a conflict between the Wildlife Protection Act and the Forest Right Act. The latter provides some improvised communities of the country right to own and live in a forest, and if this happens, then confrontation with wildlife creatures will arise, and killing of same will then proclaim of section 11(2) of the Wildlife Protection Act. In my opinion, also human and wildlife creatures can't reside together. Also, from the things that I've said, we can see that provisions of the enactment do have loopholes, and those loopholes are misused by the poachers. Now we will turn towards some judicial pronouncements to see how judiciary has reacted on this matter. In the famous case of Animal Welfare Boards of India versus Nagaraja, the Supreme Court banned the practice of Jallikattu and held that Article 51G of the Constitution is the Magna Carta of the animals' rights of India, rights in India. Further, the court also said that phrase every living being in Article 21 of the Constitution also includes animals. In the recent 86 pages verdict of High Court of Delhi, it has been held that the people can feed the stray dogs, but that to be done with caution, and it should be ensured that the act is not harming the rights of other citizens. The legislature has also taken some positive view to curb the issue of cruelty against animals, and in furtherance, a bill was proposed by Sumitra Mahajan in 2016 to amend the Protection of Cruelty to Animals Act 1960, and it was proposed to impose adequate amount of penalties and strict enforcement should be done. The Uttar Pradesh government also initiated cow slaughter prevention ordinance 2020 to protect cows. An adequate amount of punishment with fine is proposed and approved. This kind of initiation is required at the central level, and the conservation initiative by the government and also by we citizens should be done to protect the wildlife. So to conclude, I'd like to say that to curb the cruelty to animals, the active participation of judiciary, government and citizens is required. The laws should be enforced strictly, and with the help of NGOs and social media, we need to spread awareness among the citizens and to teach our children that animals' rights are not at mercy of we humans, and we also must coexist together. So this is all about the topic. Thank you so much.